If you want to play better, consistent golf, make sure you start your golf swing this way. This for me is a real game changer of starting the golf swing correctly. I see so many golfers get stuck, twittery, stuttery over the golf ball, which for me causes so much trouble later on in the swing. Free up your mind and start the swing this way. So we've all seen the golfer that stood over the golf ball frozen and stiff and pressured and doesn't really know how to start the club back. You'll see the club kind of trying to move and the hand's not moving. And it looks like there's 10,000 thoughts in his brain and he's worried about the trees, the water and all sorts of things in terms of an outcome perspective also. What I want to do from this is try and give you the correct sequence of how to swing the golf club back, but also some triggers that will free up the movement when you actually go and hit the golf ball naturally. In an ideal world, the first things we see start to move is the club head and the arms. Now, in the best world in the world, I cannot move the club head without my hands moving. I can't move my hand without my arms moving. I can't move my arms without my shoulders moving. So the sequence would normally be more or less the shoulders and the arms generating then a quicker movement with the hands. But in terms of how we trigger that movement, the best way to trigger the movement, in my opinion, is probably to feel that we have a pressure shift. So at address, we want to stand with what we would feel is our weight 50-50 on both feet. So if I rock from side to side, the weight would feel pretty centered, pretty balanced in the middle. Obviously, we're going to start ideally with your belt buckle slightly forward and your head slightly back. So there's a slight tilt and our left hand's higher than the right. That's how the stance should be. But then to get the actual swing moving, again, if we have a lot of pressure and pressure down on the club, that can cause it to snag in the ground. So quite often it's a good thing to do that we would just basically tickle the ground. So we get the bottom of the club just literally to just touch the grass tips, rather than feel like it's pressed into the ground with pressure and weight. That's a very good tip, and that's something my good friend Martin Chuck always talks about when we do golf schools together. But the second thing I wanted to talk about really today would be trying to start the swing with what you would feel is a little pressure to the lead side and then push off the lead side to go. So if I'm here and I go lead side, what tends to happen then is the lower half will tend to move over a little bit. And also probably, if you react to that, you probably get a little bit more forward lean, and the club will probably even start to just raise a little bit more again off the ground, and then we can start the swing with a movement of rotation away. And lots of people talk about one piece or not one piece. I'm not a lover of the word one piece takeaway, because you tend to get a lot of golfers kind of doing this. And essentially we'd want that club head to be moving and setting and loading a little bit ahead of the body. And ideally at this point in the golf swing here, we're looking for double rotations. So the hips would turn at this point about 20 degrees and the thorax would be about 40 degrees. So they're definitely not going at the same rate. And the club head, I'd want to see it loaded. So if we can go from don't pressure the club too much in the ground, feel it light into the ground, a little trigger, press left, and then the club head work away, and then the arms and the rotation follows. That for me is the correct way to start the swing. Now, I talked about earlier freeing up the mind, yet I've told you there lots of detail about what I want to do and happen. And obviously to the top of the backswing, we'd continue to rotate. But in terms of freeing up the mind, the main thing I'd want you to feel on the golf course would be very much, can we pressure left as a trigger? So understanding that when we move, we're going to pressure and then set the wrist and then rotate to the top, and our body works like a cog. So the kind of arms, even though they don't physically kind of start the swing, and they're certainly going to lead the swing, and the torso follows. And we're generally going to make sure we've got big body turn in the backswing and a short arm swing if we have a whole thought. But the big thing for when we hit normal shots is that we just try and feel, okay, press left with a lead foot and push off there. So light pressure, press left and hit. Let's go ahead and try a shot doing that. So light pressure, so the club feels not hovered, but certainly not grounded a lot. Then pressure left and go. That one there, perfect kind of flight for me. Great golf shot, good solid contact. It felt strange because I wouldn't normally feel that I would trigger my swing that way. It doesn't mean it's wrong, it just means it's different for me. Any thought that's different, any move that's different, takes a little bit of time to adjust. But certainly if you're over the golf ball and you feel very stuck and frozen, starting to feel you start to have some mobility and movement is a great way to feel you're going to start your swing. So freeing up your swing and letting the rest be more automatic and natural for me is a great way to play. Have a maximum of 2 swing thoughts, own them, use them repeatedly if they work, and enjoy your golf.